My ex-boyfriend. Usually I handle conflict pretty not dead on, but like I usually am pretty good at like bringing up an idea with somebody and just like communicating with them. I'm not usually super conflicting, but I like to talk things out. People acting out on their emotions before they think. Was that good? Yeah?
Battle is the word. I try to resolve conflict by considering all opinions and options that are foreign to my own and opening myself up to that point of view so that I can better consider someone else's point of view and try to adapt what they're thinking so that I am not being closed-minded about the conflict. Conflict usually results in people changing their personal opinions or beliefs to adapt to a more consensual and mutually accepted result. Or it's interesting because like normally it results in an argument, and the argument is because one person thinks they're right and so does the other person, and the difference in opinions has to change in order for the conflict to be overcome. So yeah.
Anger. I tend to be silent and just let it happen. So I usually actually avoid conflict. Usually in hurt feelings, broken friendships, divorcements, firings. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. What one word comes to mind when I say conflict?
Progress.
In a sentence or two, how do you typically handle conflict?
I'm pretty blunt with people. Usually I just say however I feel directly to them.
And in one or two sentences, what does conflict usually result in?
It depends on the other person. Sometimes they handle my bluntness well and it gets resolved really fast. And other times they get their back up and it gets ugly fast. And then nothing happens. Yep.
That's it? Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. No problem.
Fighting.
In a sentence or two, how do you typically handle conflict?
Slowly, I also try to be very straightforward with people so I can get it done with as quick as possible.
And in one or two sentences, what does conflict usually result in?
I would say progress. Problem solving and, I don't know, more happiness than whenever it was. 'Cause knowing that it's solved, there's no more conflict. If that makes any sense.
Cool. Good. Yeah. Cool, man. Thanks. We appreciate it.
Probably growth. Yeah, sorry. Growth.
In one or two sentences, how do you typically handle conflict?
I think it's easiest to handle conflict when you find common ground with a person and help each other to understand where you're coming from.
And then in one or two sentences, what does conflict usually result in?
I think conflict usually results in, well, like I said before, growth and helping you move forward when you come to understand something better about someone or whatever the conflict is. You can move forward and have a stronger relationship after that. So,
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Helpful.
In one or two sentences, how do you typically handle conflict?
Well, generally I will avoid it if it doesn't seem like it's important. But if it seems important, I'll try to confront the person in a more quiet, open setting.
And in one or two sentences, what does conflict usually result in?
I think it depends a lot on the situation. I think often it will result in nothing. I think often nothing happens, but often something will happen and it'll end up good.
Anger, violence, disagreement.
And in one or two sentences, how do you typically handle conflict?
I try to go about in a peaceful manner when I'm confronted by somebody. I try to turn the other cheek or come up with a way so there is no disagreement.
And in one or two sentences, what does conflict usually result
Depending on how I go about it, it can either go well or it could go bad. It could end up that we come to a term of agreement and there are no problems, or that we still are disagreeing and then there's just kind of part ways there.
in? Yes, that's it, man. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
What one word comes to mind when I say conflict?
Resolution.
In one or two sentences, how do you typically handle conflict?
I'll try to, I guess, address the conflict, but I usually won't do more than like, I guess, I won't like work until it's all the way resolved, I guess, typically.
And in a sentence or two, what does conflict usually result
Contention, I feel like it results in tension, I guess, tension or stress. Sometimes, in some cases, maybe people grow closer. But yeah.
Cool.
Thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate it.
He's busy, he's working, he's got his thing, his mojo.
So, in one word, what comes to mind when I say conflict?
War.
In one or two sentences, how do you typically handle conflict?
Diplomacy and peaceful resolution.
Nice. And in one or two sentences, what does conflict usually result in?
Conflict typically results in pain, suffering, and oftentimes resolve.
That's it? Cool.
War.
In a sentence or two, how do you typically handle conflict?
I usually avoid it until I can't avoid it anymore.
And in a sentence or two, what does conflict usually result in?
Conflict usually resorts in peace, I feel like. Because you have to confront whatever the conflict is, and then you can work it out, and then it's usually fine after that.
Perfect. That's it.
Okay.
Awesome. Not too hard, right?
Conflict? War.
In one or two sentences, how do you typically handle conflict?
How do I usually handle conflict? It depends on the type of conflict. I usually try to address it head on, not in a aggressive way, but in a clear way, so that everyone can understand where everyone's coming from. And I think if we understand where people are coming from, then we'll tend to be more merciful and understand and get rid of conflict.
Yeah, man. And then
That makes sense.
last one, in one or two sentences, what does conflict usually result in?
It can blow up and result in hurt feelings and be terrible, but if it's handled properly, it can be the solution to problems. It can result in understanding, and it can really progress or help people progress in relationships or in problems to be solved and things like that. So,
Perfect, man. That's
yeah.
it. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot for your help.
Conflict, argument.
In a sentence or two, how do you typically handle conflict?
Well, I usually try and understand both points of view before I make a judgment, one way or the other.
And then in a sentence or two, what does conflict usually result in?
Conflict usually results in just bad feelings, and you don't really get to an answer that both people agree upon.
Perfect, man. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. All right, ready?
Yes.
So what one word comes to mind when I say conflict?
Management.
In one or two sentences, how do you typically handle a conflict?
Usually when I handle conflict, I try to address whatever the issue is early with the person to help them understand that I'm not the type of person that keeps things inside and holds them in and then bottles them up and then later it's really bad. But I just try to get it out in the open in the beginning so that the feelings can be mutual at the time and no one's like resenting someone for not telling them anything.
And then in one or two sentences, what does conflict usually result in?
Depending on the situation and the parties involved, it can either result in really, really beneficial like relationship, friendship building benefits, or it can tear it apart and be awful. So.
Obviously, primary colors. That's already. I don't think those are primary.
First word comes to your head when I say conflict.
Fighting.
Anger. Terrible things.
Those are 2 words.
In
Terrible.
a sentence or two, how do you typically handle conflict?
Talk about it openly, and then once it's resolved, let it go.
I consider myself to be a peacemaker, so I really love just handling it, up front, face to face. Love conflict.
I love handling it in a mature manner and talking about my feelings and how I feel so that we can get it all out there in the world and so things don't turn ugly.
All right, third one. We'll go back to Lily. 1 or 2 sentences. What does conflict usually result in?
Sometimes conflict can bring people closer together if it's resolved between 2 people, but if not, then one person might have hard feelings and it could just make the situation worse.
I think that if it's not handled correctly, it results in bad things.
But if it's handled correctly, it can result in happiness and love, world peace.
We're good. Cut. So just look at me. What one word comes to mind when I say conflict?
I think war.
In 1 or 2 sentences, how do you typically handle conflict?
Head on.
In 1 or 2 sentences, what does conflict usually result in?
Victory.
That's it, man. Nice. That was awesome. Are you recording?
Yes.
Oh, wow. We've been going for a long
Anyways,
time.
we're going.
Oh, well, here we go. Okay. All right. So what one word comes to mind when I say conflict?
Fights.
Disagreement.
In a sentence or two, how do you typically handle conflict?
This actually comes from my major background. I'll approach it, get right in, and be a mediator.
I think I'm just chill about it. I just relax and just talk it out. There's no use in fighting it out. Just talk it out and just resolve it. I think that's the best way.
And then in a sentence or two, what does conflict usually result in? What results do you get from conflict?
Primarily, I see conflict as resulting in both sides being equally represented.
I think conflict results in a better relationship on both sides. If it is handled well, there'll be a better relationship, and both sides will know each other better.
Cool. Perfect, guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Knew she was somebody. Okay, so one word comes to mind when I say conflict?
Anger.
In 1 or 2 sentences, how do you typically handle conflict?
I usually try to talk to the person that I'm having a conflict with, but not when I'm actually mad. So either if I'm mad, I'll take a deep breath and walk away and then talk later, or if I'll just try to, stay calm and talk to them right now.
Cool. And in 1 or 2 sentences, what does conflict usually result in? Or what do you get out of it?
Sometimes you get a stronger relationship, and sometimes you lose the friendship depending on how you handle it. So.
Awesome. That's it. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your help.